In this video I'm going to talk about a number of Trump's tweets and media ploys. I don't agree with all his policies, but don't see him as this crazy person that people make out. A lot of people I know view Trump as highly erratic and unpredictable. I think one of the reasons they view him this way is they don't understand what it is he's doing with his marketing. Now, love him or loathe him, he's going to be the president for at least the next 4 years, so hopefully this will help you understand his methods. Before I go through some examples, let's take a look at his book, The Art of a Deal. Here are some quotes. One thing I've learned about the press is that they're always hungry for a good story, and the more sensational the better. The point is that if you're a little different, a little outrageous, or if you do things that are bold or controversial, the press is going to write about you. Good publicity is preferable to bad, but from a bottom line perspective, bad publicity is sometimes better than no publicity at all. Controversy, in short, sells. In other words, when it comes to publicity, the content of the message isn't always the most important thing. It's about the effect it has. So how has he used this for political purposes? First example, Hillary's email scandal. Just to recap, she initially said she turned over all her emails, then turned out she hadn't. She said she didn't use her private server for anything confidential. Turns out that wasn't true. She then said she didn't realise that C in brackets meant confidential. Now that's quite a questionable statement. Are we meant to believe that Hillary Clinton, previously First Lady, Senator and Secretary of State, didn't know that C meant confidential? It's possible, but given that she was trying to present herself as the most knowledgeable candidate, that argument jars with her brand. Now, because most of the legacy media supported Clinton, they decided not to give this that much coverage. So what does Trump do? He puts out a tweet saying that Hillary didn't know that C stood for classified. He put the wrong word. It should have been confidential. Was that a mistake? Notice how it's the only word in the tweet that is capitalized. Anyway, getting this wrong led to many of the pro-Hillary media outlets running the story. More people became aware of what Clinton had said. Did they really care that Trump mixed up the words? Not really. He hadn't previously held official positions. Having a lot of government experience was not really the platform he was running on. His tweet got the media to report the truth. Here's a tweet from him back in 2012. He knows what he's doing. Second example, Melania's speech. Again, if this had been approached in a stand-up way, you'd have probably seen the media go through her speech with a fine-tooth comb to find something to be outraged about. A war on poverty? Does she mean killing the poor? That sort of thing. Either that, or they wouldn't have given her much coverage. So what happens? She gives the same speech as Michelle Obama, and the media pick it up and run with it. Did the average person think badly about the Trumps because of this? Not really. If anything, people might have felt a bit sorry for Melania. The controversy led to a lot of media coverage showing Melania, and people hearing her say reasonable things. If you weren't aware that Trump had an incredibly attractive and supportive wife before then, that made you aware. Are we really supposed to believe that a campaign that spent over $300 million accidentally hit copy and paste on Michelle Obama's speech? Unlikely. And look what he tweeted afterwards. Third example. Trump was getting some criticism in the media about his previous role in the birth issue. This was the questioning about whether Obama had been born in America, which the media was saying was racist, despite Trump raising similar questions about Ted Cruz. Also, everyone seemed to have forgotten the whole birth issue was initially raised by Hillary Clinton's campaign back in 2008. That aside, it was being used to attack Trump. What did he do? He called a press conference saying that he was going to make a big announcement on the issue. Of course, all the Trump-hating media turned up, as talking about this would probably make him sound petty. Maybe they could cut the statement to make him sound racist, etc. What they got was 45 minutes of veterans endorsing him, which the live networks all ended up showing. At the end of that, Trump then came out and says, Obama was born in America, now let's focus on making America great again. Exactly like he said in his book, he used the controversy to gain the publicity. If Trump had said he was going to hold an event where he was going to be praised by veterans, would so much of the press turn up? Probably not. Fourth example, except recording turned up what sounded like Trump pretending to be his PR man from years ago. The media loved this, as they could call Trump a chancer and that sort of thing. However, it later emerged that there was a reasonable chance that Trump released the tape himself.
But Megan, the main thing here is that I didn't leak the tape. And there were two people on the conversation.
Wait, you taped it because you're a reporter doing your job?
Yeah, and I lost the tape.
You were the only one with a copy of the tape?
Yes.
When did you lose it?
Back 25 years ago.
Could somebody have stolen it?
No. It was in my house, and then I moved apartments.
So who else would have had a copy of the tape?
Donald Trump.
Wait a minute, so you're suggesting Trump leaked this to the Washington Post?
Yes.
Why?
You got me. He's done stranger things.
Because he loves publicity?
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that he may want us talking about this right now because it generates a news cycle, perhaps?
Hello, Donald.
In addition to it generating a news cycle, look at what he said in response. He draws attention to it being a phone call from long ago. Of course, the media does think it's legitimate to talk about this, so it makes it easier for him to later talk about an old recording of Hillary Clinton laughing about getting a paedophile off the hook despite them probably being guilty, which is objectively more scandalous. Fifth example. For the last few years, those on the left have been shutting down free speech, i.e. any speech that isn't incredibly left, through the use of safe spaces. After the election, Vice President Mike Pence goes to see Hamilton the musical. He is booed by parts of the audience and is then given a bit of a talking to by the cast. So a bit rubbish for Pence, but not really that bad. Trump then tweets, "The theatre should be a safe space." Journalists then respond by calling that an attack on free speech. So he's effectively got the left-leaning media to attack the concept of safe spaces. Sixth example. After he won the election, there's been a lot of protesters. Trump's response? He praises their passion. Now, if you're an anti-Trump protester, how are you going to respond? Show less passion? It's a clever tweet. Seventh example. After the passionate protester tweet, Trump said this: "Nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail." Now, why did he tweet this? No one was talking about flag burning, but what happened afterwards? The remaining protesters started burning the American flag, just obviously being played and taking the bait. What better way is there to get the American public sentiment to turn against a bunch of protesters? What Trump wrote as well was close to a copy and paste to what Hillary Clinton had previously proposed back in 2005, the same length for jail time. So when people started criticising his tweet, he could just point them to the same proposals having come from their preferred candidate in the past. So hopefully you can see what he's been doing there. He's not the erratic, crazy person a lot of people make out. In fact, his use of the media is incredibly clever. Doesn't mean you should necessarily agree with him, but perhaps next time you see a surprising tweet, you'll see it a bit differently.